to the Spooky Mom Show. I'm your host, the Spooky Mom. In today's episode, we're talking about shadow people. A friend of mine from my childhood told me this story once, and I was a little skeptical. But then when I looked into it a little more, I discovered that other people around the globe have had similar experiences. My girlfriend told me when she was a small child, she used to spend a lot of summers at her grandmother's house. And she would sleep in her aunt's room, and her aunt's room was right next to the attic. Kind of, not quite an attic, but that's what her grandmother called it. She was never allowed in there to play because there were too many things stored in there. Now, as any small child would be, that I know of anyway, they're always scared of closets, basements, attics. Even my own children are scared of the basement, but really the only thing scary that's down there is me. So my friend would tell me that there were days when her grandmother would open the door to the attic and leave it to air out because it always got very hot in there, which always made her aunt's room very hot. And she can recall looking in the attic many times, she said, and in the corner, even in broad daylight, she would see a tall shadow figure standing in the corner looking at her, and it looked to be wearing a bowler hat. And at the time, being 6 years old, she didn't know what a bowler hat was. All she knew was that this thing was wearing a hat. And she said it was as tall as a man. It looked just like a man, but it was a black, inky 3D blob. When her grandmother asked her what she was staring at, she told her the man in the corner. Her grandmother would look, and there's nobody there. So then my friend would go to sleep at night, and the bedroom she slept in terrified her to the point where she would hide under the covers. Her aunt, I guess, had a stand-up closet with a latch door on it, and in the middle of the night she would wake up to the sense that someone was standing at the foot of the bed staring at her. She would look, and there was nothing there except the closet. And then all of a sudden, the closet door would click and swing open. It terrified her, obviously, as it would terrify any small child. But then the years rolled on, the house was sold, and she stopped staying there. Flash forward a few years later, she's graduating high school now, and she's 18, and when she turns 18, her friends decide that they want to take her into another province to celebrate her 18th birthday. So they rent a hotel room, and they go and they shop, and they eat, and they have a great weekend. And on the last night of their weekend, they were all exhausted, her and her friends, and they're in the hotel room. It's 9 o'clock at night, and they decide they're going to sleep because they have to leave early in the morning to get back home. Well, about 1 o'clock in the morning, she said she woke up to the sense that something was staring at her. And when she woke up and she looked, there was a chair that sat beside her friend's bed on the other side of the hotel room, and in the chair was this black, inky 3D figure of a man sitting in the chair, looking at her, wearing a bowler hat. The image terrified her, and at first she rubbed her eyes because she thought she was still dreaming. And when she realized that she wasn't still dreaming, she became more alert of her surroundings and woke up fully. She looked at it, and it looked at her. She very clearly remembers seeing the features of arms and hands folded neatly in its lap, and its face, if you could call it that, was staring directly at her. She said it was a good 45 minutes before she was able to go back to sleep. But eventually she did go back to sleep, and when her and her friends woke up the next morning, their hotel room had looked like it had been ransacked. No one had come in, no one had left, but the room, there were clothes strewn about, the shower was on, and nobody had gotten up. They couldn't explain it, and it creeped her out. Since then, she has never seen the shadow man. She hasn't experienced anything like that before or after. But the memory of this creature still haunts her to this day. She's always terrified about what goes bump in the night and what might actually be looking at her from the foot of the bed. Some cultures believe that our spirits, our astral bodies, they travel in different dimensions, And sometimes when we wake up and we see a shadow figure at the foot of the bed, it's truly our own spirit re-entering the body after its trip through the astral plane. Some people believe that shadow figures are earthbound spirits with messages to pass on. And some people believe that they can be demonic in nature and very, very nasty. I myself am curious. What are your thoughts? What do you think she saw? What do you think she experienced? I hope you enjoy the Spooky Mom Show. As always, please like, comment, and share. If you have a spooky story that you would like us to tell, please leave it in the comments. Let us know what it is, or reach out to us. I'd love to talk to you. We'd love to share your story. Have a wonderful, blessed day, everybody. Remember, Spooky Mom loves you. Stay spooky.